Hey, tall person, good morning. Good to see you, my friend. Been a while. And how are you doing today? All right, I need to stop that because I'm can't stand listening to myself while I'm talking. Hearing myself in my one ear is not a good thing. Oh, okay. Drinking a little bit of flat Dr. Pepper. I had some Dr. Peppers that accidentally got put in the freezer. They froze solid, and you know, when they thaw out, they're flat. I mean, they still taste good. Dr. Pepper tastes good regardless. But flat Dr. Pepper is just missing something. Hey, Tyre, good morning. Every now and again, I find we need to go to the past and listen to what people said 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago as a reminder of what's going on today and why today is being screwed up. Now, right now, we're hearing a lot from the left about threats to democracy, threats to our democracy. And anytime we try to remind them, or, some of us, try to remind them that we're not a democracy, we're a constitutional republic, I saw an ad this morning. We believe in democracy. They claim we're not. And the problem is we're not a pure democracy. Oh, I've never tried that, Tyre. I never tried that. But this video popped up this morning on X. Mike Lee posted it, and it's one I've got a link to. I just couldn't find it after I saw this. And I just felt it needed to get out there.
Democracy is a form of government based upon the principle of majority rule, period. End of discussion. Now, that's not very complicated. Majority rule. It's easy to understand, easy to sell to the masses, and I might add, deadly. For example, what would you call a lynch mob? That's majority rule. There's only one dissenting vote, and he's at the end of the rope. Now, that's pure democracy in action. But wait a minute, you say. The majority should rule, yes, but not to the extent of destroying the rights of the minority. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer describing a democracy. We are speaking of a republic. A republic is a limited democracy. It's a form of government based upon the principle of limited majority rule. Limited so that the minority, even a minority of one, can be protected against the whims and passions of the majority. And how do you protect the minority from the majority? You write down a set of rules on a piece of paper. You say, this we can do, that we cannot. At the top of the paper, you write the word Constitution. And then everyone agrees to follow the rules no matter what the temptation. And when you're finished, you've created a constitutional republic.
That is about as simple and easy description as it could possibly be. The left loves to claim, well, we're trying to protect the minority. You guys aren't. You guys don't want to protect minorities. We're trying to protect the minorities of color. We're trying to protect the minorities of sexual persuasion. We're trying to protect the minorities of this or the minorities of that. But what they're actually trying to do is use their numbers of all those groups to override and hurt everyone who disagrees with them. Hey, Neil, good morning to you. Now, we do have some pure democracy in the United States. There are some cities, there are some towns that are small enough that every issue is voted on by the public. When you elect your representatives, that is an act of pure democracy. When you elect your local governor, your state governor, that's an act of pure democracy. The people in that state vote, and he who gets the most votes wins. When you vote for your representative, be it to your state legislature, be it to your town council or whatever you want to call it, your parish representative, your county representative, or whatever. He or she who gets the most votes wins. When we vote for our state electors, in most states, because some states do screw up, or screw the pooch, in my opinion, and they divide their state electors based upon how the percentage of votes. Which, okay, that's fine. But for the states that all of our state electors goes to the winner of our states, of how our state voted. That is also an act of pure democracy. It's just when we get up to the federal level that we are no longer an act of pure democracy. Because we have voted for the president. Now, most of us understand that we don't vote directly for the president. We're voting for electors, and then the electors gather together and cast their votes in order to actually elect the president. I showed the video about a week or so ago of Charlie Sheen, or not Charlie, but Martin Sheen and crew begging the state or electors to become faithless electors and vote for Hillary instead of Trump. They're out running ads everywhere. Holy crap, Neil. That's pretty messed up. So a family of crooks actually got voted for. I'll pull that ad up here. I'll pull that story up here. We'll look at it. when I'm done with my little spiel here, that y'all know, they know as well as I do, because it's not a secret. You know, I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm very lucky that the people that come to my stream are grounded in the Constitution and the way things actually work. So, I'm not educating, I'm not trying to teach anybody anything. I'm just reminding all of us, because every now and again, and we all need reminded of things we know. My wife reminds me of that on a daily basis. So, anyway, but we also need to be out there reminding the people who tell us we're wrong or don't know what's going on and claim they do, or the people who do, but they line out their in order to win elections. They um, they lie about debates. They lie about easily provable things. We all thought it was funny that as soon as Joe Biden during the debate claimed that the Border Patrol was supporting him, the Border Patrol posted to Twitter that they had not and would not support him. That was a real time fact check by the Border Patrol. So when we all hear people claim falsehoods about our government, our style of government, because we really are a hybrid. We're a hybrid of pure democracy at the absolute lowest levels of our governments, and as we climb, we become more and more and more of a constitutional representative government. And that's really the way it should be. The left, a lot of Democrats want to get rid of the Electoral College altogether, claim that it should be a winner takes all mass votes. Well, that's because they know that all they need to do is win a half dozen or so states, and they win the election every time, just by the mass quantities of people living within those states. New York, New Jersey, California, hell, South Florida. So, you've got a lot, huge concentrations of Democrats. And if we went just by that, then they would have no problem. Uh, Neil, I'm nobody's wife. I've turned into the house husband, though. My wife's enjoying the laughter, enjoying laughing at me like this morning. I was asking her, what do you want for dinner tonight? Beef or chicken? because I've got both followed now. One night's going to be chicken for dinner. The next night's going, one night will be chicken, one night will be beef. You got a choice between the two different types of proteins for supper tonight. And she laughed about it. Okay, great. Got that air conditioning turned up to 77 where it's supposed to be. Oh. And no, unfortunately, you're right also about the easier to flood with fake ballots. I've got two different types of beef thawed out, and I've got two different types of chicken thawed ready for dinner for cooking this week. So she is just which one's going to happen first because it's going to be chicken, then beef, then chicken, then beef. That's the way it's going to go this week for dinners. But anyway, I appreciate Mike Lee reposting that to Twitter. That's a video that needs to be played out. All right, let's take a look at this story that Neil brought up. Oops, I don't want that. All right, two charged with pot meth found by Hala, Mississippi town officials' home. Mississippi town alderwoman and man have been charged after police say search showed up marijuana plants, methamphetamine, guns, and a large amount of ammunition in a home in Valhalla, Mississippi. City Alderwoman Delania Richmond was at the scene and told WRG she lived there. She's 50, was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit a crime and manufacturing marijuana. Her bond was set at $5,000. Curtis Richmond was also arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit a crime manufacturing marijuana. Now, you grow marijuana. You don't manufacture it. You grow it. Possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. His bond was set at $7,500. Okay. The Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is working with NBN on the case. May pursue federal charges against Curtis. Richmond is a good alderwoman, and he expects her to be at the next meeting in July. So, did they go ahead and post her bond? "3 a.m. on Wednesday, responded to an alarm call on Katy Lane, discovered some illegal stuff. When they approached the back of the house, the door was open. When they went inside, they found a shed full of growing narcotics. That's interesting. Only 1,400 people. Okay. So I'm assuming that's the shed since the door's so big. Boy, that shed's twice the size of their house. They must have had one hell of a pot grow going in there. Oh, okay. But if that huge door was open and they could see marijuana growing inside of there, then yeah, walking in is not a problem. Because they could see it from a public space. Now that's got to be a shed there also. This has got to be the main house up here at the corner of the main house. But still, if that shed door was open and they could see the marijuana growing in there, yeah. Hey, did you? Good morning. You haven't missed much. Okay, now that's just how in the hell did I just tear a fingernail on the side of my computer? I don't know how I did, but I sure did. That hurts like hell. And it's bleeding, of course. Son of a gun. How's that looking? That's looking all right, too. So let's see here. I'm going to save that for later. We can shut down the story here about the drugs. I need to bring up again, because of other issues that have been brought up here this weekend. Last week, Louisiana and some other states have decided to go off the deep end. They really have. I warned them about it. Anybody with two working brain cells knew that this was going to happen. Louisiana and other states have decided in response to the left's putting out pride flag and all this other crap, that they're going to start posting the Ten Commandments and teaching the Bible in schools. And I said then, I did not think that was a good idea. One, it is a violation of the Constitution, in my opinion. In my opinion, for a school to be teaching for a public school to be teaching the Bible or be posting religious tenets is unconstitutional. And besides that, it's just wrong. Our schools are supposed to be safely secular. Plain and simple. Well, you see, Tyre, the problem is the Satanists now are suing to get their stuff up on the walls in these schools and to have the Satanist Bible or whatever they want, the Satanist handbook or whatever they want to call it, posted or taught, given the same time as the Christian Bible. And we'll soon see a Jewish organization soon to have the Torah put in there. And we'll see the Wiccans and everybody else wanting to have their religious texts posted or taught in the schools. Only stupid people could not see that happening. Only a stupid person couldn't see that it wasn't going to happen. Yeah, exactly. Did you? What in the hell did they expect? I didn't like it having that crap shoved down children's throats that they were shoving down. because I disagreed with it. I think it was wrong. But given that, wouldn't you come to the realization that having my personal beliefs shoved down the throats of students whose parents disagree with me wouldn't be equally as wrong? And that somebody else who would come out of left field want their stuff being given fair play? That's two working brain cells is all it takes. And a modicum of understanding of what people do and human nature. Tyra, that's doing more, in my opinion, that's doing more damage than good. That's doing more damage. It's making people that I normally agree with, or at least are on the same side with, look bad, which in turn makes me look bad. And they deserve to look bad because they did stupid things. And no, why break a system when you don't have to? Why break this? Why not be smart about it and say, listen, we don't like what you've been putting in our schools because we think it's wrong. We disagree with that being taught to our children because it does nothing to educate them, to prepare them for the future. Teaching them about how to perform sexual acts, teaching them how to do this and that. None of that prepares them to live in a life as an adult. None of that does. Now, that's not to say that it's wrong to, as part of American history, to teach the basis, what the forefathers, Hamilton, Washington, Franklin, John Hancock, where these people drew their ideas from. In order to write the documents that founded our country. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because now you're teaching historical fact and laying the basis as to, the Magna Carta and these other documents. And yes, that does include some of the teachings from the Bible, the Christian Bible. But that was a small part of where the founding documents were based upon. Hey, morning, Ramen. How you doing today? Morning in a raid. All right. But to teach the Bible or to teach any religious text is just plain wrong. And I don't think it takes any stretch of the imagination or more than 5 minutes of thinking about it to realize that when you do stupid stuff like that, other people are going to demand their stupid stuff be taught. You demand that your beliefs get taught, they're going to demand their beliefs get taught. The best thing to do is say no, nobody's personal beliefs will be taught. But the Satanists have filed lawsuit to have their stuff taught in these schools now, based upon the governor saying that the Bibles are going to be put into the schools. Oh, now I'm starting to get these these messages on my watch. I love computers. I love my smartphone. Well, not love, but I really appreciate my smartphone and the fact it's interconnected with my watch and everything else. But man, sometimes these things confuse the daylights out of me. It's why sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, and I haven't changed any settings. Uh, Neil, this is why we need to ensure what teachers are teaching in their classroom. This is why we need to ensure what they're teaching is not their personal beliefs or ideologies. And honestly, I think it's going to take getting some teachers fired. Secret World Legends, Lovecraft with a bunch of Stephen King old school references. That sounds interesting. Because you know I like Lovecraft and you know I like Stephen King, at least the old stuff. Up until The Dome. I couldn't even finish reading The Dome. I thought the book was. That's where I drew the line. Was that book. But anyway, so we're going to see some more stupid court cases on this now, and they'll get up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will have to take it up. Whereas if local politicians and state politicians had simply used the working brain cells God gave a goose, there wouldn't be this issue building. It really won't be. And being it's an election year, we don't need to be given crap like this for the left to be using as ammunition. So, all right. Now, last Friday, some Supreme Court rulings came down, and I am keeping my eye out because there's supposed to be some more Supreme Court rulings coming down today. And I'm keeping an eye out for those to come down. Looks like one came down. 6-3 split. Okay, what's going on here? What's going on? Supreme Court broadens use. Oh, come on. Get rid of these damned ads. Supreme Court broadens use of expert testimony against accused witnesses. Justice said experts can testify. Epic Times, I hate you. All right, they have not yet released the presidential immunity decision. Okay, wait a second here. All right, Supreme Court rules in favor of Trump. The president is immune. Official acts are immune. Unofficial acts are subject to criminal prosecution. That seems to be the long and short of it. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Let me go over to CNN. Share. Supreme Court rules Trump has limited immunity in January 6th case, jeopardizing trial before election. Supreme Court ruled Monday that Donald Trump may claim immunity from criminal prosecution for some of the actions he took in the waning days of his presidency. In a decision that will further delay a trial on federal election subversion charges faced against him. Most watchly case before the Supreme Court this year, the ruling rejects a decision from a federal appeals court in February that found Trump enjoyed no immunity for alleged crimes he committed before his presidency to reverse the 2020 election results. We all know that's bullshit. The story is breaking and will be updated. As far as I know, it's okay. So there's that. Okay. French President Emmanuel Macron's party is headed for defeat. The far right national rally, first round parliamentary decisions. I love it. You know, everybody is far right except for the far left. So we'll have to keep an eye on. I'm still going to keep an eye here on see what's coming out on elections or Supreme Court rather. This is but I mean this is only again commonsensical. Otherwise, Obama would be up and for charges. Biden would be up for charges as soon as he gets out of office. Yeah, far right equals normal. Not Jack's now Jack Smith. Jack Smith's case is the documents. It's that witch in Georgia, Fannie Willis or whatever. She's the one trying to get him for stuff he had to, he did down there, or they claim he did down there. Fanny. Everybody been calling her Fanny up until she got pissed off about it because they started comparing her to people's butts. So, well, let me see. Let me go to the SCOTUS blog here real quick and see if they've got. Here we go. All right, here's the actual ruling itself. All right, that way we're not having it diluted by going over what okay, federal grand jury indicted former President Trump on 4 counts for conduct occurred during his presidency following the 2020 election. Indictment alleged that after losing, Trump conspired to overturn by knowingly spreading false claims of election fraud to obstruct the collecting, counting, and certification of election results. Well, we know we've got witness testimony by post office carriers that ballots were being backdated, mail-in ballots were being backdated in order for them to be counted, and that other ballots were being thrown in the trash can because they were somehow shown to who the ballot was for. We also know there are massive ballot dumping, all kinds of good stuff. Anyway, Trump moved to dismiss the indictment based on presidential immunity, arguing the president has absolute immunity for criminal prosecutions for actions performed within the outer perimeter of his official responsibilities. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Here. Held under our constitutional structure for separated powers, the nature of the presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecutions for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority. And he is entitled to at least the presumption of immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. Just like judges, qualified immunity, just like the police, qualified immunity. There's no immunity for unofficial acts. Well, of course. Walking up and hitting somebody is an unofficial act. Strangling somebody, shooting somebody is an unofficial act. This case is the first criminal prosecution in our nation's history of a foreign president for actions taken during his presidency. Determining whether and under the prosecution requires careful assessment of the scope of presidential power under the Constitution. The nature of that power requires the former president to have some immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts during his tenure in office. All right. At least with respect to the president's exercise of his core constitutional powers, this immunity must be absolute. Much like Obama ordering a drone strike on an American citizen overseas. Remember that? As far as remaining official actions, he entitled to at least a presumption. Article 2 of the Constitution vests executive power in the President of the United States. The President has duties unrivaled in gravity of breadth. Okay, so get down to this. Not all the President's acts fall under his inclusive and preclusive authority. This means to justify the President's absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for acts within his scope do not extend to conduct in areas where his authority is shared with Congress. To determine the President's immunity in this context, the court looks to the framers' design of the presidency within the separation of powers, presidential immunity in the civil context, in criminal cases where a president resisted prosecutorial demands for documents. Much like Obama is, or not Obama, but Biden is refusing to turn over the tapes from the her investigation. Okay. Da 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 da. Okay, they're mentioning Clinton v. Jones here. Okay, right. The court's dominant concern was to avoid diversion of the president's attention during the decision making process caused by needless worry as the possibility damages actions stemming from any particular official decision. Clinton v. Jones. Remember that Jones was suing Clinton, and they ruled he couldn't be sued while he was in office. They had to wait until he got out of office. Okay, so anyway, what does the dissent have to say? Because this was 6-3. As unofficial acts, there is immunity, although presidential immunity is required for official acts to ensure the president's decision making is not distorted by a threat of future litigation. Stemming from those actions, the concern does not support immunity for unofficial acts. Clinton. Again, Clinton v. Jones. Okay, separation of powers not bar prosecution predicated on the president's officials. All right. So let's scroll down to the okay. Roberts, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh. All right. And Barrett joined. Thomas filed a concurring opinion. Barrett filed opinion concurring in part. Sotomayor dissent, in which Kagan and Jackson joined. And Jackson also filed a dissent. So let's see Sotomayor's. What's hers? All right. According to the indictment, Trump advanced his goal through 5 primary means. First, he and his co-conspirators used not only false claims of election fraud to get state legislatures and election officials to change electoral votes for Trump's opponent. All right. Now remember, Pennsylvania, after the election was over with and Biden was put into office, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that the Pennsylvania electoral was done wrong. That what they did in Pennsylvania violated their state constitution. Oh God, there is so much. Okay. On the morning of January 6th, they repeatedly knowingly false claims of election fraud to gather supporters, falsely told them the vice president had authority to and might alter election results, and direct them to Capitol to obstruct this. That is a freaking lie. We know that's a lie. How dare they put a damned lie in a Supreme Court hearing, ruling like this? How dare they put a lie in that? Oh, I wish I had time to go and dig up everything Trump said that day. And Trump told them to peaceably assemble. And then he told them to go home. He did not tell them to go and to obstruct the certificate, the proceedings. What a damned lie. Sotomayor wrote this. Damn it, she ought to be kicked off the Supreme Court for lying like that. Oh, I can't. Damn it, I hate liars, and I really hate them when they're sitting in positions of authority like this, and they're making their lie part of the official record. Oh. And Kagan and Jackson agreed with this. What a load of crap. What a load of crap. All right. Let me copy that and post it so y'all can go and read this mess by yourself. There's a link to it right there. See, even our Supreme Court justices are willing to spread lies. Now, I half expected through elected officials in the House and Senate. Because I've been listening to people like Schumer and Pelosi and Feinstein and oh my God, what the hell's that? The one that told everybody to go and tell Republicans they weren't welcome at movie theaters and restaurants and such. Oh, cackling hen. I'm used to hearing the left lie in politics. I'm used to hearing the right lie. I'm used to hearing politicians lie. But a judge should never lie or spread a lie. Maxine Waters, thank you. But a judge should never lie as part of their rulings. And when they are caught spreading a damned lie like that. That should be grounds for instant removal from the bench. Disbarment, have their robes taken away from them. Never to be behind a bench to make a ruling again. That should be automatic. That should never be a thing. I wonder how many people. I don't expect any of our media to read through that and condemn her for her lying. Our media is the worst liars on the board. They all lie. I can't. People want to claim, people my age, that remember Walter Cronkite. Oh, he never lied. He always told the truth. Did he? Remember Johnson said, if we've lost Cronkite, we've lost the country. They expected Cronkite to spread whatever stories they wanted him to spread in the light most favorable to them. And when they realized that they told one lie too many, that even Cronkite couldn't put up with it. And unfortunately, that was the Tet Offensive. If my memory is correct, and the Tet Offensive was not everything that it was cracked up to be. At the time, it looked like it was much more effective than what it actually was. But that was then, and we all know this. How the story looks at first is how that story is going to be presented. And that's how people are going to remember it, by the initial presentations, not when the fact tellers come out later. That's why, like the video of Trump condemning those who went into the White House or into the Congress and did damage. That's why that video is rather difficult to find, because YouTube and Twitter both took them down. Okay, what you got there, Josh? My dad was one of those. He could forgive almost anything I did wrong, except when I lied about it. And I learned by the time I was 7 or 8 years old that my punishments were always worse when I lied. I know I ate at least a full bar of soap over the times that, if I added up all the times I had to take a bite of a bar of soap and chew it up and wash that lie out of my mouth. But my dad could forgive almost anything except for a lie. The other thing he wouldn't forgive is any harm done to the animals on the farm. That was the other thing. He would never forgive if you harmed an animal. And that included not making certain that they got all their feed that day or got fresh water. If you didn't make certain the animals got all the feed that they were supposed to get that day or didn't get all the fresh water they were supposed to get that day, then man, you were in trouble. That was a ass whipping to no end. My poor son, I had to he had to learn the hard way that there was nothing he could say, nothing he could do, nothing he could think about saying or think about doing that I either hadn't done, had thought about doing, or had seen done. And he just absolutely hated it. He just absolutely hated that. So because he got in so much trouble for things he had done. Let's see. Is there anything? Has any other rulings come out here? Because they're supposed to have several rulings come out today. And there's, let's see here. All right, Jack Poso. Supreme Court 6-3 creates new test for presidential immunity. Core constitutional acts, absolutely. Official acts, presumptive immunity. Unofficial acts, no immunity. Interactions with DOJ officials, absolute immunity. Okay. Core acts, absolute, 100%. Official acts, presumptive. Okay. Unofficial, no immunity. I agree with that. President, male or female, walks out and smacks the bejesus out of someone for because they didn't agree with what they said. There's no immunity for that. Interactions with DOJ officials, that is questionable. That part is questionable, I think, because there could be um, there could be some things that they've talked about doing that would be illegal. And if it's illegal, then he should have no immunity. Oh God, Sotomayor. Okay, I didn't read. Remember, I didn't read all of Sotomayor's. Right, some people are picking apart her dissent, and part of her dissent. This is what I get for getting mad and not reading her complete dissent. The President of the United States is the most powerful person in the country and possibly in the world when he uses official powers in any way under the majority's reason. He will now be enslaved from criminal prosecution. Orders the Navy SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival, immune. Sotomayor, you are you need to go. You need to go. You're stupid as hell. You really and truly are stupid. Oh, Lord have mercy. Why do you do things like that to me, to us as Mayor? Why? Why do you do things? Why do you say stupid shit like that? Jim Acosta, I couldn't care what you've got to say. Crystal is, I am looking for Turley. Jonathan Turley, here we go. Let's see what Turley's got going on, saying here. All right. All right, this here's what Turley's got to say. And I don't always agree with Turley on politically, but when it comes to his constitutional stuff, I'm at the good. I mean, I bow to him. He's damn good. Okay. Let's see here. No, this time whenever the president and vice president discuss their official responsibilities, they engage in official conduct, presiding over the January 6th certification proceedings of the members of the Congress. Uh, what, what happened here? Okay, a unanimous decision, huh? Where was the unanimous decision? Moody, Chrome extension. Judgment vacated. Oh, this is a one about whether or not um, the states could sue, or let's see here. Moderation on Facebook and Twitter and such. So let's share that one real quick. All right, in Florida and Texas enacted statutes regulating large social media companies and other internet platforms. The laws differ in the entities they cover and the activities they limit, but both curtailed the platform's capacity to engage in content moderation, to filter, prioritize, and label the varied third party messages, videos, and other content their users wish to post. Both laws include individualized explanations provisions requiring platform to give reasons to a user if it removes or alters their post. NetChoice and Facebook, YouTube brought First Amendment challenges to the laws. District courts entered preliminary injunctions. 11th Court upheld the injunction of Florida's laws, so all provisions relevant there. The court held the state's restrictions and content moderation trigger First Amendment scrutiny under this. The court then concluded the content moderation provisions were unlikely to survive heightened scrutiny. Similarly, the 11th Circuit Court thought the statutes in devised were likely to fall. All right. Fifth Circuit Court disagreed and reversed the preliminary injunction of the Texas law. All right. In the court's view, the platform's content moderations was not speech, and so does not implicate First implicate the First Amendment. All right. But in to do this, all right. Held, the judgments are vacated and the courses are remanded because neither the 11th or the 5th conducted a proper analysis of the facial First Amendment challenges. In the First Amendment context, the plaintiffs must show a substantial number of the law's applications were unconstitutional, judged in relation to the statute's plainly legitimate sweep. So far, okay. So basically, these are being thrown back to, looks like they're being thrown back to the lower courts. Yeah, they're being thrown back to the 5th and to the 11th Circuit courts to redo because they didn't do their job right the first time. All right, here's that ruling. Well, I tell you what, I put decisions as today's title. I was planning on looking at some of the previous decisions, but they got all these other ones coming out too. So that is interesting. Okay. And this was a unanimous decision. So much for the court being split court. That is a radicalized split court. I mean, when you have 9-0 decisions like this. All right, I'm going to move this over here because I'll look at that later on. Okay, I want to save that. That's my ender there. All right. Well, hell. All right. Okay, I played about 4 hours yesterday, did 7 days. Got up to day 5. And I've got all the recipes for the primitive level 6 gear. But I'm wearing all level 5 because I'm not wasting the few legendaries I have on plant fiber based gear. I need to get. I looked for you, Ramen. You were online as far as Discord went, and I sent you a message. But I figured you were out doing something else. But anyway, this new 7 days is hard, buddy. I am telling you, it is way. I'm dreading day 7, my first Horde night, and I watched Gun steal his day 14 Horde night yesterday, and it's like, oh crap. And he's sitting there and he's wearing ninja and mining gear. And he damn near got planted several times. Well, maybe I screwed up then, Ramen, in trying to send it to you. But yeah, this if you've got 7 days, This new system is it is fun. So, yeah, but anyhow, that it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Even though I did find a gun, I actually found two guns. One of them I don't think I should have found. All right, I wanted to go to really discuss the. Yes, I did say mining and ninja gear. He's wearing a combination of mining gear and ninja gear. Yeah, yeah. Talking 7 Days to Die. Uh, there's two channels I watch that deal with it, and the one I watched Jawoodle and this other guy, and Jawoodle I watch more for fun. This other guy I watch for to see how really good player plays. And yeah, but anyhow, no, not that. Nil, not that. Where is all right? The Chevron decision is one that seems to really be pissing off the left right now, up until today, which this presidential immunities is going to really piss them off. Um, the Chevron decision. How dare how dare the left tear down 40 years a ruling that has stood for 40 years. For okay, now, my when I heard somebody say that, I was like, well, y'all try and destroy the Second Amendment, and it's been there for over 200 years. Y'all have spent the last 30 years trying to destroy the Second Amendment. Something that's part of the Constitution. So, just shut up and go away. I'm shaking up my protein drink. It's root beer flavored. Oh, that's good. I'm back on my weight loss program. I'm now down 18 pounds, which is good since I've been off of the steroids. Yep. How many of y'all are Stranger Things fans? These companies keep coming out with foods based on the TV show Stranger Things, or Hulu show, or Prime show, or whoever got it. The wife bought me a pint of ice cream based on that Stranger Things called The Void. It is a solid black vanilla ice cream. So I ate a half pint of it the other night. People, let me tell you, that black dye that they've injected into that vanilla ice cream remains, it does not digest in your system. That black dye does not, whatever they use to color that ice cream black. It's a good ice cream. Okay, ramen. It really is. But much like hot peppers, hot peppers, if you eat hot peppers and you enjoy the burn at one end, you get the burn at the other. Well, this vanilla black dye, food coloring, whatever you want to call it, it's black at both ends. And the first time I saw it, I got a little concerned, trying to realize why I had black stool in my toilet. Until I realized that I'd eaten black ice cream the day before. So just if you are a fan of the Stranger's Days food product lines, be aware. Be aware. Of the after effects. Okay. So back to the Chevron decision. What's happening is, the left is claiming that the judges have now decided that the courts will be the final arbiters of what Congress means when it comes to their legislation that they wrote and passed, voted on and passed, and sent to the president for his signature, instead of the experts at the various alphabet organizations within the executive branch. If you think about it, Congress passed some bills. Well, let's just look at the ATF. The ATF took, for 12 years, bump stocks. Not bump stocks, I'm sorry. Arm braces. All right. For 12 years, these arm braces were legal. They were designed to assist, and primarily it was designed to assist disabled veterans to be able to continue to shoot firearms, rifles. And the ATF fully approved them. And for 12 years, they were legal. Then all of a sudden, they became illegal. Because they decided that they were going to read the same rule that they read the first time to approve them and reread it to disapprove them. Oh, ramen. Oh, my daughter-in-law would kill me. My son would think it was funny, but my daughter-in-law would kill me. What? You know what I was going to think, knowing I've got a grandson under the year under the age of 1 year, I knew what I was going to say. If Congress can't write a bill that is straightforward enough in plain enough language that has to rely on the alphabet agencies to sit there and decipher what they meant and then change what they thought they meant on a whim, then that bill's no good. That law is no good. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, half of the people of their experts are on the payroll of either the pharmaceutical companies or the food companies. Their experts are on the payroll of either the pharmaceuticals or the food. And that's why we've got foods with additives here in the United States that are illegal in most of the other countries in the world. We've got drugs here in the United States that are legal, that are illegal in most. You got drugs here in the United States that are being used for things that they weren't designed to be used with. So yeah, there are. I mean, and the head of the ATF in questioning before Congress was being asked specific questions about the brace, about the bump stock, and about other items. Specific questions about them. And his answer was, and he couldn't give him an answer. He said, "Well, I don't know. I don't know why this was. I'm not the expert that made the decision." What? You're sitting here before us right now, and you can't tell us why a decision was made the way it was made. And you're the head of the agency because you relied on somebody else's opinion. But you're going to stand here and tell us that opinion's the right opinion, but you don't know why it's the right opinion? What this reversal, the overturning of the Chevron decision is going to force Congress to do is to do their own damn jobs and do it right to start with. We got too many Congress critters, both parties, that are there for their paychecks and the power. They don't, the bills are written by lobbyists, and then they farm it around to find a Congress critter to put their name onto it. Not all the bills are that way, but a good number are. And we know that. I mean, there's no doubt about any of that. So this Chevron decision comes along now. This new decision that overturns Chevron and says that and remember, this came about because fisheries decided to sue because they were having to pay to have an expert on their ships. They're having to pay $1,400 a day to have an expert on their ship. He wasn't part of the crew, but he was the expert and could tell them what they could and couldn't do. And to top it off, they had to pay $1,400 a day to have him on their ship. Whether or not this guy actually knew what he was doing. But he was the fisheries appointed expert for him. There was no legislation authorizing this. There was no legislation saying this had to happen. But the alphabet agency in charge said that while Congress said, Congress said that this, something needed to happen, so this is what we're going to make happen. And this is how we're going to pay for it. So they wrote their own rule, decided their own punishments if you break the rule, and how much it was going to charge. Something with anybody you don't have to have a legal education to understand that that's just plain wrong. Common sense tells you that's just plain wrong. I think now, Congress is going to be forced to do their job. We all agree. I think we all agree, but I don't think there's any room to disagree on the idea that Congress needs to quit writing omnibus bills. Congress needs to start doing their job and writing a bill, single matter bills. If it's a veterans bill, then the only thing in that is the veterans, not funding for Ukraine or someplace else. Or some line in there dealing with a totally different subject. Every line of that bill needs to be about the veterans. Every line, if you're putting in a border bill, it better deal with an American border, not a Ukrainian or Israeli or any other border. Yeah, exactly, Dale. So, these omnibus bills need to go away. And Congress critters need to be held not only responsible for the bills they write, but liable for the bills that they write. Okay, did another one just drop? I'm getting warnings that another Supreme Court ruling just dropped. So, no. That's not the proper. That's not it. Okay, so another ruling did not just drop. Well, that's That's not it. Oh, okay. CNN is just saying, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, a Trump appointee, agrees with the Supreme Court's immunity ruling, but suggests the former president should stand trial. I'll have to read. We'll have to read her ruling, her opinion again. I didn't read her opinion. Joshua, we need to have, remember when the Constitution and the governments were just being laid, the idea of professional politicians was not a thing. It was supposed to be a deal where the politician went and served his term, then returned back to his civilian life. They weren't, the idea of them, somebody spending 50 years in politics was not something that they'd considered. They figured 6, 8, 10 years, 12 years, and that would be it. Then they'd go home and go back to their farm, go back to their business, go back to whatever. Then the class of the professional politician. A lot of people want to enforce that original idea by going with term limits for politicians. I can fully understand why. I really and truly can. I just don't, I just disagree with it. Because I fully believe that the American people have the right to vote for who they want to vote for, as long as they fit the minimum requirement. Yes, I know we have, term limits on the presidency. Why were those put in place? Because the Republicans lost 4 elections in a row to the same man. And they thought that he was becoming too powerful and too close to a president, that he was too popular. And he would stay in office until he died. That's why. Because they couldn't find somebody to beat him. So they managed to get through a constitutional amendment for term limits for the president. That's why. No, it's the ugly truth as it is. Now, Josh, again, I can understand why, and sometimes I agree with you about judges, but we need to make judges free from political, as free as possible from the political process. They're the counterbalance to the two elected, 3 elective branches, 3 sets of elective offices. Your House of Representatives, your Senate, and your presidency. No. I'm not so sure I like, and I don't think you would have a hard time to convince me to do away with lifetime appointments. But what would be a good term for an appointment? Because you want to make certain that, and that when you put this judge into this position, that they know they're going to be secure there and not removed at a political whim. So it's there's good and bad on both. Okay, John, yeah, I read you there. Okay, um, and that's been the main thing with judges from the get go is trying to keep them as independent from the political side as possible. No, and that's why when we get to the congressional hearings on appointments, these judges, once again, Harry Reid and the Democrats did us all wrong when they moved these lifetime appointments to a mere majority instead of the supermajority. Because rather than picking judges, and this both sides of the aisle, rather than picking judges that a large number of people could agree on, it's just whichever side had power would agree with. And that in and of itself is not a good thing. You should not have to have an idea that, you know, uh, we don't have to pick a judge who's moderate enough or has a good enough background that the other side will like them. You know, that our political opponents will like this person because this person is going to be sitting in that office forever. And at that point, you know, when that happened, that should have been impetuous to decide on term limits for judges. Because these judges, you know, um, the some of these judges that the left have put in the that come into office here under Biden. I mean, think about it. We've got a justice on the Supreme Court that, when asked what a woman was, said, "I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a biologist. I don't know what a woman is because I'm not a biologist." That, you ask a 5-year-old what's a woman, he's going to point. He or she's going to point to mommy. You ask them what a man is, they're going to point to daddy. But a person in their 40s doesn't know, can't say what a woman is. You're at that point. Or a judge that takes an intact male that's been convicted, that is got a this intact male that's been convicted of serial sexual assaults on women and girls, women and girls, and puts them in a women's prison because I feel like a woman today. So he puts them in. So she puts them in a prison full of women. What? You know, that's like putting me in a room full of pasta, pizza, and bread and pumpkin pie. Because I said I was I no longer ate anything with carbs. So you know, the only thing you're serving me you put me in a restaurant full of, like I said, pasta, breads, pizza, pumpkin pie. Don't throw me in that briar patch, Mr. Rabbit. Please don't throw me in that briar patch. So at this point, you know, should that judge have been given her lifetime appointment? No. But she'll get it because the Democrats put her up. And by God, no Democrats are going to vote against her. Because she stood up for a person in a minority field and put them where they wanted to go, regardless of the harm that could happen to the other women in that prison. Beth, good morning. Yeah, I talked about it too when she was first. I ran her testimony before Congress. I played her testimony before Congress. We've got, and again, Harry Reid, when he was in charge of the Senate, changed the rules, and then Turtleneck, changed the rules for the Supreme Court when the Republicans got power. So now we have what we got going on now, where the left is claiming that there's too many conservatives on the Supreme Court, and they're trying then that they want to pack the court with more of their people. Meanwhile, they're also claiming that Justice and Clarence need to be removed from the court. When neither one of them hasn't done anything that wasn't done before by any other judge, also on the left side of the spectrum. Anyway, one last check here to see if there's any other new opinions. Let's see if Jonathan Turley's got anything. Talking about anything new here, real quick. Refresh Jonathan Turley. Okay. All right. Now it doesn't look like there's anything more has dropped here. They're still reeling from the House. Let's see the ow. Well, son of a gun. The House actually is doing it. Let me share this real quick. Come on, pop up. Committee on Judiciary, House of Representatives, Merrick Garland, in the District Court of Columbia, they are suing for the Her tapes. Let me go ahead and post that. Anybody else? Because I'll read that later on. I didn't think Jordan had it in him to actually sue for him. Son of a gun. He's actually doing it. So I will give him credit for that. Boom. Anything else here happening? Da 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 da. I don't see anything there. Nothing there. Oh, somebody's shooting dragon breath rounds. So and let's see. Now that doesn't look like there's anything else out there. And of course, the ruling for here we go. Here's the video. I got two fun videos for you guys to listen to here before we head out the door.
The major victory, ladies. Way to go! Congratulations!
Thank you.
You've made so many people proud in this area. Now we want to pick your brain a little bit as we admire your huge trophy. By the way, that's ridiculous.
These two women won a debate championship.
But I'm going to ask you first. We'll start with you, Amina. What was the topic, first of all?
The topic was restricting presidential war powers authority.
They say the nigga's always already queer. That's exactly the point. It means that the impact is not, that is an impact turn to the that it is a case turn to the affirmative, because we are saying that queer bodies are not able to survive. That it necessarily means that the body of the nigga is not able to survive.
We got the topic in about July, and we started doing our research then.
When the nigga sees these pains and suffering, that he can only envision himself, that he does not see another nigga that he can feel sympathy for or embrace, but rather that otherness gets obliterated.
We've been supplementing our research throughout the season.
Man, focusing out there, disfigured, lynch, and trauma enough. The insight, the trauma representation that turns into the black child devouring and identifying with the stories and images the white culture brought up to think and act. The way that the status quo works is through whiteness allowing, forcing other bodies to tell narrations of whiteness and the violences that whiteness does. We say that is the link that we will go for.
I can't take any more of that. I cannot take any more of that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what it takes today to win a debate championship. That is what it takes to win a debate championship today in this country. And here's the last video I want to share. That we're going to go out with a laugh here. Oh, that is funny as all get out. I love that that I've seen that video around for a long time, but it's still funny every time I see it. The look on that woman's face. All right, ladies and gents, I got to get out of here for now. And there's supposed to be a couple more rulings dropping. So I will be looking out for those for today. But until then, everybody have a good day. Enjoy themselves. Try to stay out of trouble. If you can't stay out of trouble, have as much fun getting out of it as you did getting in it. And of course, be with the ones you love and love the ones that you're with. Later.